So many thanks for joining me, I appreciate it. And can you explain for me, for people who don't know, what exactly is OSAF?
Very simple. It's the organization that is protecting most of the South American racetracks. Mainly is, you need to remember, we have in South America 4 Part 1 countries, and we have another 3 Part 2 countries and another Part 3 countries. So it's many countries. It's like the Asian Federation, who is involving everybody who is in the horse racing industry, and it's just that we are part of the International Federation, and working very hard to be beside the main countries in the world in horse racing.
And there's 11 countries that you represent?
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. And this race this weekend, the Gran Premio Latinoamericano, how important is it in the region? Is it the most important race?
It is not the most important. Maybe it's one of the most important races. Which is the difference? This is unique worldwide because this is a race which is moving country by country every year. It's not like the Breeders' Cup that is just moving. It's moving, but it's moving in one country. Yeah, a state, in different states every year in different racetracks. This is a challenge because this is moving. Our distance are long distance. It's not like Europe. Yeah, and it's moving from Uruguay, next year Chile, it can be Brazil, can be Peru, can be Argentina. So it's a real challenge. My view, my vision, that doesn't mean that the South America is sharing this, is that I hope someday we can be with this race in United States.
Wow.
Yeah, and so because we live in a continent, yeah, and I believe this will be, for the marketing point of view, will be very important, mainly for South America, including a couple of American horses in this race, of course, to be someday there, no? In Miami or mainly in Miami because it's the entrance of South America and United States.
That'll be amazing. And this year it's a bit different. The race is normally in March. It was probably quite a difficult decision to move it to October, was it?
This is an adventure. This was an adventure. This is completely crazy what we are doing. We try to save the year and to not losing this race. But we organize everything by Zoom. To organize an event by Zoom is not easy. We were always challenging the pandemic, so we could confirm definitely in August this race. So it's unique, and I think the people who were working will remember for the whole life because was a real challenge, and not just for us, was also for Longines, because Longines was following us, and I think it's because our partner is a real partner, we have enough credibility with them for them to make a bet and to achieve the goal. So it's like many years ago when the big battles, the generals say, okay, we have the day. I think today we can say, okay, we won, we have the day. The day is our day.
It's not been easy at all, and you're right, Longines are great supporters. And away from the race, looking at the region in general, what challenges do you have at the moment? Because I think it's still difficult to get horses out of some countries. There's some export problems.
Everything is difficult in South America. Okay, we need to start saying this. Because the long distances also, depending on the months, we are organizing this race. The owners, because who are the owners? Why we can't decide which are the horses need to be in the race? No, we can nominate, but we cannot decide because there are owners, there are trainers, and they have their own campaign or their own ideas from what they need to do with the horse. So this was very difficult because the time of the year. Yeah. The one in March, it will be very difficult because it's just 5-6 months from now. We don't have it 1 year. It's March is tomorrow. And also is because my goal is to have South American horses competing outside the region. This is my target. Doesn't mean it's the target of everybody because this means money. This means to have a good horse, and this means to have the strength to send a horse and to lose campaigns in a big race. But we need the goal is to have horses outside the region competing. Why? Because the horses from another parts of the world, they are not coming and they will not come because the horse go where the money is. And we don't have horses or prize money, interesting one for them.
So with this being your goal, when Antonio Sintra came to Dubai this year and won, was that a very important moment?
Dubai is one of our targets, but we need to have horses, good horses. We cannot send just horses. We need to have the ones they can compete. But the target is to have every year at least a couple of horses there. We will have, yes, we have 2 horses. The ones they went last year. From the last Dubai, from April of last year, they went to New Market. They stayed there, and they are now coming back to Dubai. But we need to send more horses to Dubai, to the festival. We need to send not just to Dubai, we need to see if we can have horses in Bahrain, in Saudi Arabia, in Abu Dhabi, in different parts. So I hope this will be, we will have more horses from now every year.
Good, that's great news for me. And one more question for you. Uruguay, I think, is a Part 2 country. How can it become Part 1? Is that a possibility?
Okay, this is the critical question. For sure, you listen many things during the last days. I was the person who could bring 24 races in Uruguay to Part 1. It was, I got many years ago 12, and after I fight for another 12. I create a monster, okay? So I need to be careful because everybody feel in our region that we are the best of the world. Okay, we are not the best of the world, and there are criteria. And some of the criteria are not 2 + 2 4. So we need to know how many horses from 115 arrive to Hong Kong at the end of the year. We need to make the analysis of the campaign of the horses outside Uruguay, because in the world, how they see Uruguay. Okay, it's a Part 2 country, perfect. They have races in Part 1, okay. But, okay, the ratings are domestic or they are international? Okay, I'm part of a PAC meeting, so I know very well this. And we need to convince many people because, and this is the last concept I want to bring to you, it's not because I'm critic, because I want to achieve this goal, okay? It's very important. But there are another Part 2 countries in the world, and they're very important, some of them. And they don't have this quantity of races in Part 1. Yeah? Like Korea, I don't know, many countries. Yeah? So we need also to make this analysis, because we cannot continue asking and to have many races in Part 1, and the rest of the Part 2 countries maybe they don't have. And finally, okay, yes, we can achieve the goal of Part 1 as a country. Okay, we have many races in part one. But you know, in Uruguay, we have another black ties that they say Uru. And all of these races are listed races.
Yeah.
So they need to be listed races and not to appear in any catalog saying G1 Uru or G2 Uru. Doesn't mean anything. Maybe it's important here because part of the Triple Crown or whatever and this story. But part one means also criteria and needs to be harmonized from what happened in the rest of the world.